let's deal with people difficult to get a hold of. It's so much easier to get a hold of people now. And you can, if they won't take your call, you can send them an email. You can usually find their email and say, I know you're pretending not to hear my message, but I know that you're reading this, and the story I'm doing is an important story that has serious implications about your job, life, business, career going forward, and I think it would lead to a better and more fair story if you participated. So that's kind of cocking the gun a little bit. It's like there's some serious stuff going on here. So there's that. There's really spawning, face-licking approach of, you've done all this important work, and I've a long time been an admirer of it. Problem with that stuff ends up making its way out into, look at the emails between this White House guy and Woodward, and they're both just kissing each other's ass over and over again. It comes out. So you gotta be careful about how you approach people and what you say in an email. Save all the ass kissing for the phone call. That's a joke, you can laugh. And you can surround them. You can catch them on LinkedIn. You can, here I am on your Facebook. I'm tweeting at you. I'm everywhere except on your front lawn, and I might do that, so you just keep popping up like Jason in a hockey mask, and you finally can't be avoided. So there's that, surround them, that's one. If you're in an interview and you're not getting what you want, you know what, there's a million ways, and I've seen them all. I've done a lot of collaborations. I've had reporters stage walkouts say, well, we're obviously not going to be talking about anything important here. We might as well just get our stuff and go. And that will put, because there's always a flack sitting there that's kind of like, and then they flip out, and then the person flips out, and it turns out it's just totally staged. There's going thug, which is especially of mine, where you menace the person and begin talking to them in low tones, and then there's, I mean, what works a lot, like when in an unproductive situation, is to create identification, which is, here I am, a reporter, down on their luck. Nothing. I have nothing. I have just this empty tin cup waiting to be filled. I don't know anything about this story. How's about you show a little leg? How about you show a little compassion here? You'd be surprised how often that sort of plain emotional appeal to their vanity and you demonstrating humility or fake humility will get you placed. What you don't want to do, and what people are doing, is it's right away cutting to off the record, right away cutting to background. I dealt with the Wall Street analyst yesterday, and I agreed to read a quote, something like a quote that I was thinking about using, and as a ground rule, not sending it to them, not asking their permission and stuff. And I got to tell you, I should have just told them right away, no, I'm not gonna. I know how to type. I'll get the quote right. I'm not reading it to you. It's just, as somebody who's at a large company, afraid of getting in trouble. But you should set the ground rules and stick to them.
During the election, one of the stories, I guess, afterwards and during was the 538 blog in the New York Times.
Right.
And I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it, especially because you're talking about how the truth is between the people. It seems like the 538 and like Mr. Silver, that for them the truth is between the numbers.
Well, Nate Silver is He had an amazing year. Everybody was, the election, the polling wasn't going the way of people, so people were like, I'm used to it, them attacking the coverage, but here it was, the polling is skewed. The polling is, and anybody who knows Nate, and I know him, he's just like a nerd about playing it straight. He's just like, he doesn't care. He just doesn't about, you know, it's leaning this way, it's he doesn't root or push or, he believes in data. And in this instance, he got attacked over and over as somebody who was fudging the numbers or telling lies with statistics. And he pushed back pretty hard and said, and he speaks in probabilities, never in terms of certainties, but he just said, you know, I'm betting I'm right and you're wrong. And he was right and they were wrong. And so this was sort of, it was a triumph of data over punditry. I mean, if you think of what Dick Morris was saying before the election, what Karl Rove was saying before the election, they didn't know what they were talking about. They didn't see what Nate saw. And in the future, we're going to, I think, see fewer blowbags on cable, guessing what's going to happen, and more people delving into the numbers and seeing what the numbers tell them about what the electorate is going to do. I think it's going to have a pretty important long-run effect. I'm a Nate liker, as you can tell, but I'm not one of these freaks who is like checking it every day. I believe in what he says. He's been right before. He's been right about baseball. He's been right about elections. You know, until he's wrong, I'm a ride with him. But he's an example, you know, to your thing about individual brands. It's like, we don't own him. We have an alliance with him. And he's his own damn thing. And increasingly, you're going to see sort of alliances federated between, I mean, we partnered with BuzzFeed on the election. It's pretty wild. We're like 150 years old and they're like 8 months old. You know what I mean? So it's a very different world we're living in.
This question seems a little random, but professionally, what do you think of Jon Stewart and The Daily Show?
He's right in the middle of my beat. It's not that random. I mean, this is, let me think. How many people in this room consider Jon Stewart an important source of news and information? I would think more. I think he's a very important person in the news ecosystem. I'm more of a Colbert guy personally, just because I like what he does and he lives in my town and I think he's cool. But Jon Stewart is very good at what he does. He does the high-low thing very well, and he has the ability to drive the debate in certain ways. I don't like that he always gets to be right about everything. But is he a funny guy? Does he do a good job? Yes. And he occasionally, and I mean, I've been wrong about him before. I wrote that him speaking on the National Mall, he and Colbert, that would be a really dumb thing. Didn't hurt him a bit.